Exercise will showcase your relationship with execution, and nutrition will showcase your relationship with provision. So you can make a lot of money and still be a start and stop personality. It's going to show up in your fitness.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Ancient Intelligence. You've got your host, Anya Shack, here. And today we are having some fun. We are having some feminine flow, feminine conversation. This woman that I have with me here today, I was in a conversation with her a couple weeks ago that lasted like 3 or 4 hours. And I actually don't even know where we were, what time it was. I felt like we were in like another portal, another dimension. And so I was just like, oh my God, we've got to dive into some of the juiciness that we were mentioning then. And so I invited Miss Samantha Bell onto the podcast. And Samantha is, oh, excuse me. She is a coach. She's a fitness trainer. She comes from the world of fitness, but then she's been able to kind of put mindset and fitness together. And she's the founder of this incredible group for women called Active and Attractive. And what she does is she helps women find health in their leadership. And she helps them live lives that are really on purpose. And she's super inspiring to me. And I'm very grateful to say that she is in my circle of women. So I'm just super stoked for y'all to hear her. And let's dive in. Hi, Samantha.
Hello. I love that intro. It makes me smile.
Awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about like why Active and Attractive. Share a little bit with everybody, like who you are, what you do. Would love to hear.
Yeah, so it's funny you introduced me well because if I were to say that I'm just a fitness coach to a lot of my friends or clients, they would get really upset with me. But the truth is I love identifying as a health coach because I feel like there are so many thoughts and beliefs around what it means to be a fitness or health coach, yet alone what fitness is and what health is, that I'm like, no, I want to stake my claim and be a health coach because a health coach who can speak on leadership is different than a leader who could, or a leadership coach who can speak on health. I feel like there's a different edge.
Mm,
And so I want to be the type of person that, I got my master's degree in exercise physiology. I love the science of how our body works. It completely intrigued me. And I started out in school for engineering. So it wasn't even something I thought I was going to do. And I found so much fascination in how our body works that now I'm at a place where I feel like when I look at women, I'm like, your body and your design and who you are is so amazing. And I want to show you that through the health world. I think we all have
mm.
such a weird entanglement with restrictive dieting or over pushing in exercise. And so essentially where I started, like I said, I got my master's degree in exercise physiology. It was falling from one thing into the other. I sat in the front of my class, just loving. I got so lucky. I had incredible teachers who just depicted what was happening inside of our heart and inside of our gut, inside of all of these different parts of our body when we exercise and how exercise can influence those things,
Mm.
where the infatuation came in. And I found myself being like, I'm going to go to grad school. I found myself in research laboratories teaching fitness instructing classes. I mean, I was doing every single thing under the sun. And then
Mm.
when I finally graduated, I decided to go to a really high-end gym here in Dallas. And I
Mm.
was there for 5 years around people who were very, very wealthy.
Yeah.
And these people with all the money and influence sat in the same chair with me and said, "Hey, I don't know what to do with my body. Like, get me in
Wow.
shape, make me attractive, make me look better." And I'm
Right.
like, "Okay, how do you have a low self-esteem here, but that building over there that's on the skyline, you were a part of the development of? Like, I don't
Mm.
understand how your confidence stops right here at this one spot." And
Wow.
so in noticing that pattern, I was like, oh my God, it doesn't matter who you are and what you've accomplished. Even the greatest people might have a poor relationship with themselves,
Yeah.
their
Yeah.
body. And so as would work out and go through our training plan, whether my clients were with me for months or years, which very often happened, I got to see not only a physical change, but I saw that their request to become physically attractive was completely just overrun by the beauty of the energetic attraction they created by being the person who showed up every day, who came into the gym when they didn't want to, who ate the foods even though they didn't want to, who said no to alcohol even though they didn't want to. And that those actions, the actions they took to be healthier, changed their character. It completely changed their character. And that's when I realized you get to shape and craft your persona in the gym.
Mm,
And the same characteristics that you have to become in the gym or you develop in the gym, you end up walking out of the four walls of that place
mm,
and use those characteristics everywhere you go.
mm,
So I saw the patience they had, the mind that they had to find to talk themselves into doing hard things, the running the distance, the, you know, breathing through chaos when they were doing things
mm,
like yoga. All of
mhm.
those aspects of what they developed in the gym helped them achieve even greater things outside of the gym. I saw
Wow.
clients who were struggling in their relationships or struggling being single finally get married. I
Yeah.
saw them, you know, find more confidence. I've had people, you know, end up in magazines, find opportunities, almost seemed like they were just finding them.
Yeah.
Their relationships deepened. They felt happier at home. They felt more open to life and its opportunities. And it was just one of those moments where I'm like, this is what I'm meant to do, is my fascination with how the body's made, combined with my over infatuation with people. Put those two together and you end up having the capacity to develop very healthy magnetic leaders. And so that's where
Wow.
active and attractive came from. It's you do the active work and or the active inner work, and then you become not just physically attractive, but you become energetically attractive.
That is a whole something. Like you just dropped the mic a little bit. Very inspiring. Samantha, you're so charming and elegant and eloquent the way you speak, and it's very attractive. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, real quick. So I have a couple things to ask. Number one, what was it though that makes someone like able to be a millionaire but not able to like love their body? What is the thing that's happening?
I don't think I've been asked that question. I think about this all the time. And, you know, we could say some people have easier access to money, or maybe they had to fight their way, you know, to make the money and then it became a familiar part of their world. I think
Mm,
there's something in there that that's where
mm,
that comes from.
right,
But truthfully, I just can't help but say I really believe there's a difference when you're navigating aspects of life that are outside of you.
right.
Like, I do believe we have a deep relationship with money, and our relationship with money has to do with our internal experience. But there's something different about money being outside of you, a
Mm,
relationship, love being outside of you. And then there's the body that you live in, you feel every single day. It's like when you gain a couple of pounds and then you sit down and your belly rolls up, or
yeah,
you know, put that shirt on that used to be the perfect fit. Now it's a little tighter, or you just feel slow and sluggish.
yeah,
It's like the most immediate way that I think we feel affected. And so, in my eyes, I think there's just so many subconscious cues happening in the body that you can override those by action.
yeah,
With, I'm just going to drink the Red Bull and then I'm going to negate how low energy I feel, or I'm going to
yeah,
skip over this thing that I know I said I was going to do for my body. And I'm just going to stay up all night and finish this PowerPoint presentation. You
right.
know, you can do the money things anyways,
Yeah,
but the body really takes us to sit down and say, what do I like about myself? What do I
yeah,
not like about myself? And am I willing to take the action for myself just because I can?
yeah.
It's a whole different conversation.
Wow. My impression is that if you're making a lot of money and making deals and doing all these things, but you're not in relationship with your body, you're you're probably not living authentically.
Mm,
You're probably not living like a, you know, hell yes, this is my life. I love what I'm doing. It's probably like you just being good at making money.
yes, I could
Mm,
not agree with you more. And so you're going to love this, Anya.
mm.
And I had a download that came to my mind, and I was like, God, are you sure? Like, this is good. What I heard was exercise will showcase your relationship with execution, and nutrition will showcase your relationship with provision.
I think you said that to me once and I have not forgotten
Yes.
it. And I'm so happy
Yes.
you said it again. Can you say it one more time?
Yes, exercise will showcase your relationship with execution. So you can make a lot of money and still be a start and stop personality. It's going to show up in your fitness. Your fitness will
Mm,
tell you how well you follow through.
mm,
And then nutrition, your relationship with eating well, giving yourself what you need,
mm,
doing it because it feels good, allowing yourself to indulge a little bit.
mm,
That will showcase your relationship with provision at the
mm,
level of I want it because I want it, or I want it because I
mm,
deserve it.
mm.
And it's not even that one way is better than the other, but typically how you eat will show a lot. It will reveal, it's not precise, but will reveal a lot to you on where your relationships with provision lies. And I even had somebody one time say, well, I like to cook all the time. I like to cook for other people. And I was like, it's not cooking because even cooking, that's action. That's
Yeah,
taking action. That's still
right.
in the execution realm. I'm talking about the foods you allow in your body. What
Wow.
do you allow in your life and what do you not allow in your life?
Mm,
And so that correlation there, there's also the belief for me that your ability to sleep and your ability to rest is equally proportionate to your ability to allow ease and simplicity in your life.
mm.
Sometimes we kind of try to make things more complicated, or
Yep.
we're overcommitted or
Yep.
overstimulated. It's like those things show up in the way that we act as people in day-to-day life. And
Wow.
so that correlation is something to just open up and look at, because it's not to shame you, but it's for you to be able to see, oh, this is what I do. This is what I
Yeah.
do. Okay, I can
Yeah.
actually change that. And this is why I love teaching health in this way, because now health is a tool for you. If
Yeah.
you want to practice the ability to go the distance, to push when things get hard, push when your mind wants you to stop, that's an executionary skill. What fitness piece teaches you that? Long
Yeah.
distance running.
Yeah.
If you train long distance running, you're going to
Yeah.
overcome the part of your mind that
Yeah.
says, hey, you should stop. Runner's wall, you should stop. Your heart's about to explode. You should stop. And
Yeah.
if you keep going anyways, like I said, when you do it in the gym, you end up doing it outside. So you end up
Wow.
changing your psyche and then the way that you see yourself.
Samantha, I think that's so beautiful. You guys just like listening to her right now, like I get every time I talk to her, I get so much like incredible content. And I'm one of those like projector types that like doesn't like, flowery things. So you just like melt my heart because everything you say is always so meaningful. And I'm very grateful for that. Um, you essentially just gave us all like a trio framework for life. You basically said, within exercise, you'll understand execution. Within nutrition, you'll understand provision. Within sleep and rest, you'll understand ease and how you live. And like, if all of those things, those three things are working, you're probably on track.
Yeah. At least to be happy when you have what it is that you work so hard
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's drill into women. Like, let's talk about women specifically. This podcast talks a lot about men and women. And I ran a masterclass last week and I had two different women email me the same question.
for.
I said,
Ooh.
I really loved your replay. I loved understanding about, men and how much they really crave respect and all these things. But what do men really want from women? Like, what do they really want, right? I haven't been in a relationship for many years. I'm finally ready. What do they want? And across the board, I have heard from many a man, and you tell me what you think. And this relates directly to what you do for women.
Mm.
Literally, what men say is, if she thinks she's attractive, then so do I. If she loves herself, then so do I. If she is on purpose and like bright and radiant and awesome, I notice her. It's literally about her and not about what he wants. Juiciness,
Oh
over
my
to
God.
you because you literally help
Oh.
women understand this. So, like, I know you've talked about this so much. Talk to me.
Oh my God. I just like, where do you start with this? This is one of the main reasons why I want to teach women and women
Mm,
alone, because I'm like, boo boo, I have to learn this for myself. This is why I'm so deeply convicted. When you learn that you are the one,
Mm.
when you learn that you are the one, your life doesn't just feel easier, everything is easier. Everything starts to work. I remember, Anya, when I broke up with my last major boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and I was scouring the internet for dating tips. I didn't understand men's mind. I
Yeah.
dove so far in. I mean, it was all I did every day. And every single piece of quality advice that wasn't like revenge advice, it was, you gotta focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I was so angry that that
Mm-hmm.
was the answer. And my brain couldn't even understand what that meant.
100%.
Now looking back, it's the only answer. It's the only answer because this is true with men, but it's also true with all relationships, whether it's your children, friendships, our parents, our clients, our business partners, employees, employers. When we don't have a strong sense of self, we don't have a strong sense of authority.
Mm.
And what people want to see is us being so fully ourselves that we don't need any one person.
Mm.
Everybody around us is just a plus.
Yeah. Mm.
That sense of self-fulfillment is so attractive because people get to feel safe around you when
Mm.
you are taken care of, and they get to just add to your life. They don't need
Mm.
to support your life. They don't need to keep you up.
Yeah.
That is a hard one to grasp because it takes a lot of inner active work.
Yeah.
You realize you are fully capable of handling the life you've built, but you've got to build it first.
Ugh. Girl, what you were talking about in relation to not just physical attraction, but like energetic attraction and resonance. Speak more about like what it is that has women feeling self-conscious in the first place. Like because we're so lacking in confidence. So many of us, like whether it's childhood stuff, whether it's like you've got to be really skinny in the news, and you've got to eat these granola bars and nothing else, and it's just we've learned all this nonsense from media. And I'm just like, yeah, like I'm sure you've got a lot of women like kind of just telling you how they feel. Like why aren't we confident to begin with?
I deeply believe it's because we have not gone on the journey to discover our true identity.
Mm,
And that's going to sound like probably one of the most generic statements I could say, but hear me out. A part
okay.
of active and attractive is discovering your world and recognizing the value you're supposed to bring the world.
Mm.
So I realize that my clients who are extremely successful, no matter how long it takes, they finally cross the finish line after a set amount of time. Those clients versus the ones who somehow just can't make it. I had to sit with myself and be like, what's the difference? We're all doing the same thing. The lack of confidence came from their inability to see how important they are to the world.
Mm.
They just couldn't see it. And
Mm.
the only way you can see how important you are to the world is to recognize, what do you bring to the table? Are
Mm.
you comfortable with the fact that you're the loud one that rallies everybody together, that brings so much energy to the room
Yeah.
because someone told you to get smaller?
Yeah.
Or can you appreciate that you are the quiet one, that when you cause people to lean in and ask deeper questions,
Yeah.
can you respect that about yourself?
Yeah.
Most of our characteristics when we were little, like you said, were told that that's not good enough.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
then we function from that place rather than our truth. And when
Mm.
we don't know what our truth is, we're living like everybody else but ourselves. And so that means the actions we take ends up building things like everyone else. So
Mm.
we're essentially building a world around us that doesn't even truly look like what we really want.
Mm.
And we're constantly reinforced that who we are inside isn't enough. And we feel that dissatisfaction every day. So
Mm.
it keeps us in a loop of self-consciousness. And then the day we finally break out, it feels scary as feels so freaking horrific because it
Uh,
feels like you're going against the grain, but that's what we want.
yeah.
And so inside of active and attractive, I teach something called world building because I
Okay.
realize this missing piece, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many health practices I give you. If I told you to exercise and I gave you the perfect golden plan on what to eat,
Yeah.
if you don't have a strong sense of identity, you're going to be the person that doesn't follow through on the plan, and it's going to reinforce that self-consciousness.
Yes.
Develop a section of the brand where we focus just on identity.
This is very powerful.
So,
Keep
yeah.
going. Yeah, keep going.
Well, I was going to say, so when you partner identity with health, you have your identity, you bring your health together, right? When you know who you are, what skill sets you bring, that very unique style that you have, the thoughts and philosophies and stories you carry, you partner that with your health practices, including conversational health, so
Hmm.
social health, occupational health, business health. You combine healthy things with who you are, and boom, this is where you have something that I call your presence.
Mm,
When you are congruent with your identity and you know every table you stand at, you might seem different, you might seem the same as them, but you will bring what you bring. You partner that with health, meaning you're taking care of yourself.
yeah.
That amplifies your presence, which creates such a magnetic aura. And this is what I say, there's those people that walk into a room and you're like, who is she? Who is that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I'm feeling something on her. I don't know what
Yes.
it is. I'm kind of intimidated. I want to talk to her. I think I don't,
Yes.
that feeling of like, oh my God, what's her presence? Your presence is the part of you that speaks before you ever open your mouth. That's
Girl.
what happens when a leader has health and identity together. And that's just one of three pieces that create the
Wow.
perfect leader.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's what I believe the self-consciousness is we haven't really spent time diving into what are your true gifts? What's your internal culture? How would you really prefer the world? How would you really prefer your world?
Mm.
Process where I walk women through. It's so freaking fun. It's like this really fun, playful, creative thing. I've run dozens of women through it, and they've got like pictures posted on their wall because
Right.
visual, and
Totally.
they've just said that this sense of identity they didn't think they were allowed to have, and I think that's the nature of self-consciousness is us not feeling like we're allowed to have or be who it is that we want to be.
Girl. Y'all need to sign up with Samantha, okay?
Yeah.
Like y'all all need to sign up with Samantha. What I'm also getting from your share and what you're speaking about and how you're telling me about world building and identity and health, you guys, this has nothing to do with the job that you do and get paid money for in this like corporate America, or corporate anywhere else experience. And I think one of the things that my heart breaks over, and I would love to hear your perspective on this, is this idea that so many women have been told, like, you need to go and get a job and you need to be better than men and you need to compete with men and you need to work these 80 hours and all these things. And the alternative to that is some sort of like stupid housewife in the 1950s that doesn't get to do anything. And I'm like sitting here thinking, y'all did the whole like either or thing again. Actually, there's a whole other third way that no one has been talking about that actually women have been privy to for thousands of years. Like passion, identity. Who are you? What do you love? Not like how much money can you get
Yes.
from the corporate bro dude or whatever. Anyway, I'm just like heated about that. And what you're speaking about is like you're helping women wake that up. And that like lights me up because I think it's so important.
Yes.
Ah.
Flare it up. I love this energy from you. Like it's so hard to describe because it doesn't feel safe at first.
Right. Right.
It doesn't feel safe at first. I have a mom who raised me for the first few years of my life as a single mother. She's an immigrant. She's come from overseas, so she's had to fight for her right to,
Mm,
like she's really had to put herself out there and to make sure I'm fed and taken care of. Her mindset is stability, 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 stability.
yeah. Get that.
But she also is learning what it feels like to claim what she wants.
Mm,
And so I feel like as predecessor, wait, not predecessor, as her
Her
descendant, there we
descendant.
go, the other way. I feel like it's almost like my job in a way to be the things that she couldn't because she gave me the things she couldn't have.
Mm,
So the other alternative is I have to tell her, this is the path that I'm going and it's going to look completely different. It's going to
mm,
look completely different than yours, but I want to do it for us.
mm.
It's to actually produce more financial wealth or more of a generational wealth where our minds are more available to be open and for freedom to be more prevalent in our bloodline and for us to
Yeah.
really be able to feel like possibility is possible. I have to go this way. I didn't say that when I started, but
Yeah.
looking on it now, that's what it feels like my
Yeah.
purpose is. And it's the whole other way of living gets to look like fun.
Mm. And would you say that if it wasn't like that, you wouldn't have the type of relationship you have romantically?
So if it wasn't like what?
Like if you weren't awakened to your identity and you did not exhibit presence and you were not like living you were living, someone else told that someone said you had to be like, how would your relationship be?
Oh my God, I would be boiling inside every day
Right.
because I wasn't fully expressing. I feel so free, and there's more
Mm,
still to express.
mm,
I got fortunate to have a husband who also is open
yeah.
to want to live that life.
Yeah.
What would have been terrible, and sometimes we might find ourselves in these moments because I'm still
Yeah.
always doing that work to make sure I
Yeah.
stay open, right? It's easy to fall back into what I was raised in, but you know his level of freedom used to, or there have been moments where it would trigger me. It's like, don't you want to organize, don't you want to budget, don't you want to find stability, right? But the truth is if he was as free as he was and I didn't have the capacity to find freedom at all because
Mm,
hadn't figured out how to fully express myself, I don't think our marriage would be able to be what it
mm,
is today. We're both constantly trying to find
yeah.
experience, opportunities, and fun, and our connection comes from that.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear a lot of people love to tell me about their relationship stuff, of course, because I'm like studying men and women and um, you know, what you just spoke to, like I would be boiling inside. I think that's a lot of women's experience in the just general world. And men are always frustrated. And these two humans aren't able to connect properly, even though they're married many times.
Yeah.
And I love how you're really identifying like a woman's like right to take ownership of that for herself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, girl, so to piggyback off of that statement, really, the way this has all been visually represented in a way that's truly anchored for me is through the movie Moana.
Tell me about it, girl.
And I don't know if everyone cried during that movie, but I was in the middle seat on an airplane, decided to finally watch this movie in my life. My life got in that moment. I was like, it was dirty, it was nasty. I was trying to keep it contained because I was in between two people. But that movie spoke to me. And I'm sure everybody who's seen it at the end, when the woman, and this will be a spoiler alert,
Yeah.
anybody or whenever at the end when Moana restores the heart, the way the movie goes is there is a monster that's essentially terrorizing the seas, and that terror is starting to affect all of the surrounding islands.
Mm,
And this monster is a lava monster. It's throwing rocks, it's throwing fire, it's throwing all types of things. And Moana travels across the entire ocean, journeying to restore this heart to where it's supposed to go. It's a stone. And by the time she passes this huge lava monster, she finally gets to where she's supposed to go. She realizes there's nobody there. And she looks back and realizes on this monster, there's a spiral that matches the same spiral that's on the stone.
mm.
And she puts it together and realizes, oh my gosh, I traveled all of this distance to restore the heart of Tafiti, which is this island.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts walking towards the monster, the sea parts. The monster has the opportunity to pass over the sea and just clamber over to her. She's singing this beautiful song, and then the monster stops right in front of her. And they put their heads together, and she's like, I see you. I know who you are. She takes the stone,
Mm-hmm.
places it on that spiral at the chest,
Mm-hmm.
and the monster reveals that in all of this time, it was this beautiful, lush Hawaiian island full of leaves and trees and animals and birds and life. The main male figure in that movie had taken this heart, and ever since the heart was removed from the island, it's been this lava stone monster.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just one of those moments where I was like, oh my God, this is who we are as women. Whether we have daddy issues, we had our first
Mm-hmm.
heartbreak, we were just hurt in some kind of way, when our heart, that really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful heart that women carry with
Yeah.
compassion, love, and intentionality, when that gets removed, we stomp around on this earth angry. We're boiling.
Mm-hmm.
We're ready to damage things, or we almost try to hurt people sometimes because we
Mm-hmm.
have so much pain that does not belong. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe that when we can do that work to restore our own heart,
Mm.
that thing that men are saying, like, if she just knows how
Yeah.
beautiful she is, if she felt okay with herself, if she loved herself,
Yeah.
I would be in so much admiration. But that to me is what health is we restore our own heart. We
Yeah.
become this lush, overflowing leader, this
Yeah.
woman who is a matriarch, this woman who is intentional, this woman who is innocent, as if life hadn't really touched her.
Mm.
And we become so emotionally resilient while we
Mm.
honor and learn the lessons, we end up allowing ourselves to be able to constantly give as much as we're designed to give,
So
to help
beautiful.
restore the earth in other ways.
Wow. I like want to clap for you. That was beautiful. Great. Thank you. There are two teachings that come to mind just from two women that I follow and really admire, that do this work. And the first one is from Jillian Pothier, and she says feminine, because people are always asking her, like, why can't men fix things first and then like everything's going to be okay? And she says, men do go first, but our frequency goes first. Men take the first action in
Mhm.
response to our behavior.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It is so good. And then Allison Armstrong for 40 years has been saying, men just respond to women.
I
Men
do.
are always responding, and not just men. And so, like, if we think about men as a representation of the masculine, which is the concrete kind of conscious world that we live in, everything that happens or doesn't happen to us is in response to who we be.
Yes, yes.
And I just love that you're helping women with this. It makes me so happy.
That is
Women
it.
need women.
Health.
Yeah.
That's health. That's
Yeah.
health. We recognize our atmosphere, that presence I was referring
Yeah.
to, where that's our atmosphere. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Sometimes your atmosphere is repelling,
Yeah.
sometimes your atmosphere is dissonant, like how you seem is different than how you're acting. It's like that atmosphere is what sets the tone. And so if you come into a room and your atmosphere shrunk and tight and don't talk to
Yeah.
me, it's exactly what you're gonna get. And
Yeah.
that's so hard to accept. But when
So
we
hard
can
to
learn
accept.
how to navigate, when we learn how to navigate our frequency, and we don't want to do it like where we're smiling and pretend like we're happy, right? We don't want that. We've got to
Totally.
go in and nurture you. What do you need? What
Mm,
what can we give you to support you? That's world building, is let's support you so that you can support the world. What do
mm,
you need?
right.
What do you need? And when you can give yourself that, your frequency will naturally rise, and it won't be this mask that you're trying to pretend on.
Right.
It's going to
Right.
be truly who you are.
Oh, one of the like next level, I guess, teachings or something that took me a while to become aware of, and I'm sure that you like think about this with the women that you coach too, is like once you become aware of something, like, okay, I was needy in the past because of my abandonment wounds, and I've been working on that and all that stuff. Saying, I'm going to not be needy right now, so I'm not going to take these actions and I'm not going to oversay stuff. That's you being needy again. Like the
Yeah.
energy of being needy is still there. And it took me so long to get this. It was literally just like, oh my gosh, like I'm needy. Then you go into, I'm going to try not to be needy. And then the final phase of that is like, I'm just me.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like that's the journey women get to go on.
It's
Mm,
it's so big, leaving the land of victimhood
yeah.
and moving into the land of creatorship. Like
Yeah.
I get to create things. I actually get
Mm,
to create things.
right.
That is such a wild thing to have permission to believe.
It's incredible. I'm really loving, I love what you said about nutrition and provision.
Hmm.
Can you talk more about that? Like what that looks like in life, what that actually looks like or doesn't look like when it's not there, even maybe subconsciously, people might not be aware.
Yeah, so provision I think has multiple definitions, but my
Yeah.
first thought, because sometimes it'll change as I'm describing it, but my first thought on provision is what do you allow yourself to have?
Yeah.
It's not what do you go get,
Mm,
not what did you take, it's what do you allow yourself to have,
mm,
right? So if you don't allow it, you're not allowing provision. You're not being provided for.
mm,
Then when you do have it, do you recognize that this is for me or this is not for me?
mm.
Sometimes we allow things that aren't great. And so now we have it, but it's like I allowed this and I don't even want this, right? And I feel
Yeah.
like food showcases a lot of that, the two layers, like allowing is letting yourself buy, letting yourself get, letting yourself receive, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes we know that we want to go eat at a nice restaurant, but we don't allow ourselves to do it. Or
Right.
we want to buy healthier foods because we know it's going to be good for us, but we don't allow ourselves to go do it. We want to allow ourselves to have a cookie because we've been on this restrictive diet for a really long time. Sometimes that's what we need. We don't let ourselves have
Mm,
it, right? But
mm,
secondarily, when we are given food and we allow ourselves to have it, is that thing that we're having in alignment to where we're going, right?
mm.
Isn't in alignment to where we're going? Well, the only way to answer that question is to know what do you want?
Yeah.
That's the key to provision is knowing the answer to the question, what do you want? All notebook style. What do you want? What do you want?
Totally.
What do you want? That what do you want? If you don't know what you want,
Yeah.
then you can't have it, which means you can't allow anything. And if you do know what you want, do you allow yourself to have the thing that's going to help you support that?
Girl, that's
Food will show you
food.
all, whether it's calorie counting, the food quality,
Mm.
anything, it'll show so much of that to you.
Can I just tell you, literally, y'all, I'm on this journey, always continues, it never ends. Literally last week, I just had this new like up level, I guess just realization. There are times where I'll be like, oh, I want an abundance of fruit in my house. Like I want an abundance of fruit. I want all the fruits. I want them all there. And I love when they're there. And then sometimes I'll be running out of fruit and I'll be like, oh, it's fine. I don't need that tomorrow. Like I don't want to go to the grocery. I'm too lazy. It's okay. I don't need that tomorrow, right? And by doing that, I unconsciously am essentially saying to a man, like because it's all connected. I'm saying you don't have to take care of me. You can just give me the bare minimum because I am giving myself the bare minimum.
You understand it. Oh my God. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah, that's it,
That,
ladies. That's it.
and we do this with our request to the universe for money. And we do
Mm,
this for the people we allow in our lives. And then
mm.
we feel burnt and exhausted at the end of the day. And then we want to throw the middle finger to the sky And it's like, wait a second. I'm supposed to allow what it is that I want. Do I remember what I want? Oh,
Mhm.
every time I look in my refrigerator on my counter and I see an overabundance of fruit, I remember who I am, what I'm here for, why. Like I can feel it. It's right there in my refrigerator, and that's only one area of my life. That's how it's supposed to feel.
I believe this stuff works, y'all. It takes years and it's very, intense, but this is it. Like, I,
Good.
I don't know, in tribal times, people were teaching each other these things. These were
Mhm.
part of like systems that were created, but we live in this individualistic world that we have to figure this stuff out for ourselves and find community. And that's why it's incredible. Like, I could never have realized that if I hadn't done the women's group I did last year, where I spent 4 months thinking about X, Y, and Z with like 8 women. And it's like, that's why it's so meaningful what you're doing. I'm just like loving hearing it.
Thanks, girl. That's so
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. I love hearing this in regards to, do you mind if I ask you a question?
Yeah. Let's do
I
it.
I would just love, hope I don't put you on the spot, but like I want to hear your relationship or thoughts around health, any aspect of health relative to the ancient technologies and traditions. I just love that about what you're doing. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you've encountered, maybe you haven't thought of that at all yet, but
Yeah.
no, where does that lie for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, I am okay. I'll get into like one of the things that I'm thinking about a lot these days. And something for me, when I was 16 and 17, girls around me were getting put on the birth control pill like
Mm,
like crazy. And I can't explain it to you now or then, but I had this thing where I was like, I don't want that. And I had this intuitive knowing. I was just like, I just don't want that. And my whole life, I've never had that. And I guarantee you now, after reading all the literature that's come out recently about like all of the harmful effects of birth control and all of that stuff, I'm like, oh, wow, that's why my sense of smell is so strong. That's why I have
mm,
like different ways of like, I can sense like like pheromones in a different way. Um, Maybe the types of men I'm attracted to are different, all that stuff. And that's been something that I've had going on, but before understanding my body, I was really obsessed with like being skinny and like being fit and like having to look hot and all that stuff. And so I just had all these hormonal ups and downs, but I was just under eating. I
yeah.
underate for a long time, and my metabolism was just like out of whack until I met a woman that helped me, Chloe, who introduced us.
Chloe.
Chloe Gower, who is also an incredible woman. And she helped me understand I was in a calorie deficit and I was gaining weight because
Mm,
I was stressed. Um,
yeah.
and I had a really self-sabotagey relationship with food, and it was very difficult. Like I worked out a lot, but I couldn't see differences. And underlying, of course, the self-worth conversation, right? Like I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. And all that kind of brings me to today. There's so many layers to it, but the understanding that, like, I even said this to a friend of mine recently, like there are, each week of the month I have very different relationship with food because of
Yeah.
my cycle,
Yeah.
and I'm honoring it. And sometimes
Yeah.
I eat more and sometimes I eat less and da da da. And she even said, wow, it hits you that hard. And I was like, yeah. And I felt a little weird for a second. And then I just checked myself and realized actually, people that are not on birth control feel these things in a way
Mhm.
that is very significant, and women that are not on birth control. And I am really proud of that. And
I
I don't want to make anyone wrong. I think it's totally like I don't want to make anyone wrong about the whole birth control thing. But for me, I have identified that being healthy is very much being healthy as a woman.
Yes.
And there
Yes.
is something very unique to that
Mhm.
that is different when it comes to being a healthy man.
Yes.
And that's why I think it's so important. I don't know if
That's
that answered your question.
It did. I got chills.
Love it.
It
Yeah.
did so beautiful. Out of everything you said, what I heard you essentially key in on is that health is a matter of us, from an ancient perspective, it's a matter of us tuning into our intuition.
Yeah.
And you listen to what birth control meant for you.
Yeah.
And then when you didn't listen to aspects of, let's say, your worthiness, you
Mm.
fell into patterns with food that didn't honor you and tell you your truth.
Hmm.
And so it's just like health is feminine.
Mm.
Wow, I just got that one. Oh my God, true health is feminine. And I think that love and compassion and grace and strength and intentionality and all of the things, like we said at
Yeah.
the beginning, that we have to do in order to operate in health,
Yeah.
that's the nature of health. And we can trust that we'll find ourselves there if we just keep those emotions at the forefront.
I love that you said that. And I just want to say one last little thing about that. Like, feminine, people just still, and it's okay, it's just the way it is. People still think of soft, nurturing, loving, kind,
Plain
blah blah
dresses,
blah.
puppy dogs, rainbows.
And I'm like, actually, y'all, 2 days ago, because I'm in my like 1 week after my period moment, I'm in my like high energy phase of
Yeah.
my menstrual cycle. I was doing burpee to pull-ups 2 days in the gym. Yes, two days ago in the gym. And
Excuse me, I'll see myself out.
this like great fitness trainer I love taught me that. And I can do that right now. And it felt really good. And that's feminine too. But
Yes.
next week, I'm not going to do that at the gym.
Yes, ma'am.
And that right there is something women really get to learn.
That is so, so beautiful. Oh, I
Hmm.
could go on about cycles forever because I've got a lot to say there, but I love the way you applied that.
Well, thank you. So yeah, tell me, what is something, okay, I love this conversation. We're getting ooey gooey, which I love. This is
Yes.
like what girls do. Tell me what you love about feminine health, something
Ooh,
else that you love. Maybe you've learned for yourself or you've been able to witness in women.
yeah. First thought that came to mind when you said that was my favorite part about feminine health is that the answer is that if I'm happy and it feels easy, I'm healthy.
Ugh,
And for me, coming from the living in the life of being an
yeah, yeah,
over performer,
yeah.
that is the most gracious and most difficult revelation that I've encountered, where it's like, oh wait, you're telling me I get to have fun?
Yeah.
And like it's gonna work? Wait, you're telling me I get to like it gets to be easy,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it's gonna work. I get to find my own execution style and make it work for me, or I get to actually receive things. It's like that moment where you realize a healthy money relationship means you getting money.
Yeah. Simple.
You finally mastering love and men means you end up with a husband. Wait, what?
What?
I get that. I think feminine health,
Yeah.
it's not so dogmatic and pressure
Yeah.
riddled and just all of these things. It ends up being just light. But like you said, there's
Mm,
eras, there's seasons or moments where you get to do the burpees and the pull-ups. That might be the majority of your style.
sure. Totally.
But when it's truly in alignment with you,
Yes.
it feels fun. And I'm like,
Yes.
my life gets to be fun.
Girl, preach on that. Like, because y'all, movement is fun. Movement is feminine. Moving your body is literally like what if you close your eyes and you turn on the music, like it's what you're gonna want to do.
Totally.
You
Totally.
know? So why
Yeah.
not just like figure out a way to like create movement in your life that is consistent and easy and
100%. That's why with my clients, when I walk with them, I say if it feels hard and not like challenging. Challenging's different than hard. Hard, I'm talking like your heart rate's going up in like a grinding the gears type of way.
yeah.
That means you've already turned the car on and now you've just turned the key even more and now the engine's like
Oh,
you don't want that. That's stress. That's not even health and fitness. That's stress.
yeah, true.
Like when you find yourself in that place, you have now made a healthy action unhealthy,
Yeah,
and we've got to scale back.
beautiful. I love that. So
If you
beautiful.
bust out of the gate running 5 miles a day, restricted diet, really tight, da 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 da, da, and it feels like, oh, it feels like just pain and stress, it does not matter that you're doing the action. Your body will not showcase the health that you've discovered inside. It just won't because you don't feel good. You don't feel healthy inside.
Mm,
And so I have a very progressive approach, we're
beautiful.
going to stack one thing on top of the next, but we've got to operate in what I call the sweet spot, where it feels like it's just outside of your comfort zone enough,
Yeah.
but it's not level 10 all the time.
Yeah, love it.
And you move along that. What people forget, and this is why I love physiology so much, is your body is your friend,
Yeah.
meaning everything you do and say to do, it's going to get really good at that.
Mm,
Really good at that, both positive and negative things.
mm,
So when you stay in the sweet spot, meaning like, let's say you operate at 70 to 80% of what you're really capable of doing. So you're just in the discomfort, but not so much that it hurts.
yeah,
You will forever see a change. You're always going to progress in that regard.
it's beautiful.
So every day doesn't have to be hard.
So
I
beautiful.
found myself running miles and miles and miles by starting off with the slightest trot.
Totally.
And then that gets easier. And yes, time is a factor, but when you take time out of it, it feels easy the entire training period. And then all of a sudden I'm running 8 miles.
Yeah, I think that's so beautiful. I think
That's the
that's
sweet
so
spot, is
beautiful.
finding yourself at the result, not forcing yourself there.
Yeah, I love that. I think one of the most meaningful things that happened actually to me, this might inspire y'all as well that are listening. Um, when I first approached Chloe, that I had issues with my gut health, I was like my metabolism, I was not happy, I was not she actually asked me. She said that I wasn't ready to work with her yet, and she told me to spend the next 3 months eating whatever I wanted
Yes.
without any sort of restriction. And she said that if I couldn't learn how to love my body in its more like heavier seasons, then I couldn't find my way to my lighter seasons.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
It was
That's
the most profound thing I have ever heard.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's what I say to people. I with food, can see when women are in that level 10 where they're grinding the engine, and I'm
Mm.
like, I can tell you the best answer and you're gonna want to slap me. So
Mm.
I need you to find freedom in what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you go slow when you want to go fast.
Yeah.
Typically, if you want to go slow, I need you to see that you're willing to go fast. It's the opposite of whatever we're operating in, the slow off polarity.
Yeah.
When you can find peace, maybe not full peace, but you can find some type of experience inside of the opposite of what you've ever been willing to do,
Yeah.
you're not going to be afraid of either or, which means you have true freedom. And that's the place that you can build from. That's you don't want to build your castle still afraid of going into the dark. You
Mm.
want to know what's in the dark, know that there's
Yeah.
actually nothing scary there, and then build your castle even bigger.
Girl, because to my like fellow single ladies, like I just had this like vision to say this from what you were speaking to is that like if I can't allow myself that delicious like Italian like rich meal on my own, then I won't be able to allow it on a trip to Italy with the man of my dreams. And if I do find the man of my dreams and I do order that Italian food, and I do eat it, and I haven't worked through this with myself, I will feel like shit that whole time. And then he will witness me not in self-confidence, and the attraction will start to go away slowly but surely.
Reach it. When you walk it out like that, it's so clear
Mm,
why this stuff has to be worked
mm,
on.
yeah.
If you can have pasta here, but honor yourself and not have it for a time until you get to Italy,
Yeah.
you already know you can eat pasta and you can go without it. So when you do have it, it's so much more delicious.
Yes. And you can have fun and enjoy. And like, God, one of the sexiest things to men is when women can like really be sensual. And I just learned that that word literally just means feeling the senses, all the senses. It's not about sexuality. It's literally about feeling all your senses.
Literally. So yeah, I remember when I learned that too. I was like, sensuality? Oh, senses. Oh,
Oh,
changed my
ah,
life. I swear. That changed my life.
how come no one told me that?
Oh my God.
Oh
That's
my God.
the vibe. Oh my God. That's healthy. That's healthy. I'm like, hey, if I had one client who her parent died
Mm.
whenever we were working together, and she's like, I fell off of my plan, but I just needed to eat these chips that reminded me of him. And
Yeah,
I'm like, do you understand how healthy
that is.
that is? That is you feeling all of your emotions around this
Mm,
grief.
mm.
Like that is healthier than the restriction. You need that. Your soul needs that. We're
Yeah,
being healthy for our soul to express itself on the earth.
so beautiful. Oh my God, girl. Like for the amount of things that women don't quite get about men, which is something that I love to share, this is something that, God, it would really fill up my soul for men to begin to understand a fraction of what women really deal with on the inside in regards to our allowance or non-allowance and our real intense anxiety about feeling all of our senses and how much we've been told it's not safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think will start with what you said is leaning into the opposite of what you're used to doing.
Mm,
Because when you can explore your greatest fear, that means you've gone to a low, which makes you less afraid to go high.
yes.
And and like pivoting to the opposite will surprise you with what you realize.
Yeah. Oh,
That I love that sensual tie-in. That is so, so important, those feelings. One more thing that I have to say
please. I'd
that I
love
always
it.
say,
Tell me.
health journey is an emotional journey.
Mm,
It is an emotional journey. Most people try to take emotions out of it. That is one of the primary tools that I utilize and make sure my clients know this space. You must express them when you feel called. It is okay to share how you feel. Most
mm,
women who are carrying extra weight, the weight that you don't really feel comfortable with,
yeah.
that tends to represent a willingness or a need to hide ourselves, hide from the world,
Yes.
create distance away from us, from other people. And
Mm,
so what I found more so than the food and the this and the that, the amount of emotional work that we've walked through and that cry, that admittance, that ability to just say the thing you never got to say, that ends up creating something in the body and weight starts falling off because they say in science that stress will keep your weight on, and I could walk you down cell by cell why that happens. But if stress creates a difficulty to lose weight, when you release that emotion,
yeah.
when you finally say, I'm pissed this person did that to me because you're
Yeah.
such a people pleaser.
Yeah. Girl,
When
yeah.
we express that emotion,
Yeah.
that is health. And so anybody who says to shove it or shut up or just do it, that's not feminine health. That's not
Mm,
in health. You were allowed to say, I hate this while you're doing it, or you were
Mm.
allowed to say, I don't want to go there, or I don't want to do that, or I want that, even though it's you're allowed to express anything that comes up for you. All
Mm.
emotions are allowed in health. And the moment you think opposite and do it anyways, that's where things start to get funny. So you want to feel good every step of the way. And I don't mean happy. You want us to feel aligned every step of the way. And that's how you make it through to the other side.
That is the best place to end because I am just feeling all the mic drops. And I will say, y'all, like, I'm just to edify what Samantha's saying, like, I, it wasn't the, the planks that made my waist feel as like beautiful as it does now. It was all the tears I cried that like got me my waist.
Oh my
Like,
God, it's so real. It's
so real.
so,
Oh God, it's just very beautiful. In these moments, God, I'm so love being a woman. It's so fun.
oh, I
So
know
good.
it. I know it.
So
Oh,
good.
girl.
Girl,
Yeah,
y'all,
great.
this has been a beautiful conversation. The amount of mic drops blew my mind. Samantha Bell, you are a soulful, wise, very inspiring, beautiful inside and out woman.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Please tell the people what you've got going on, where they can find you. I will also link all of this down below.
Yes. Oh my God. So number one spot is going to be on Facebook.
Okay.
I am on Instagram at Active Attractive, but my Facebook group is the place to be. We are small but
Woo!
mighty, and
Woo!
everyone can go in there and I talk about all the various natures of female healthy feminine leadership. So I believe that there's three pillars that make up a strong leader, and we've got to pass through each one in order to keep an effortlessness to our ability to lead the world. So we have weekly conversations on the framework, the concepts, the dialogue. This is where I love getting to know people by first and last name. That's why I'm on Facebook, is because you get to like know your
Yeah.
people. And
Yeah.
so everyone shows up regularly and we have a really good time. Now, I wanted to not just talk with people about cool things. I wanted to actually give people an opportunity to migrate into application. And so I just released a couple of weeks ago the Women of Active and Attractive, which is my
Woo!
membership space, my health membership space for leaders. So the Women of Active and Attractive right now is $77 a month.
Woo!
And get access
Deal.
to its unlimited resources. Well, I can't say unlimited. There's limited, but you get access to resources to help you teach and experience, or help you learn and experience what it is that you want to apply next in your health. So whether it's learning about fasting for the female body, nutrition, exercise, all the different caveats that you might feel called to explore, I've got teachings, and inside of the app that we're in, I've got little like processes set up there. I call them series. So
Mm,
right now I just released the intermittent fasting series, which is a 14-day process. You get to check the box every single day that you fast, as well as be a part
good.
of an incredible community. We've got over 30 women now inside.
Woo!
And so we've got women walking daily because they're doing the walk, which is a 30-day walking accountability challenge. And then there's the 14-day intermittent fasting. But I don't want to just have women doing the things. I want them to have the space to talk and share how they're experiencing it.
Yeah.
But then also teaching to give a frame of mind that maybe you've never heard before. So if you like how I talk today, or you like the way I see things, that's my ultimate goal. It's why I can never not be called a fitness trainer, is because I want you to know I know the stuff, but I
Yeah.
want you to see it in a healthy feminine leader style way. So the way I teach it, it's going to give you the tools to apply, and it's going to shift the way that you see it if you've ever encountered this stuff before.
Absolutely spectacular. Beautiful, beautifully said. Y'all, nothing happens solo. It's just impossible. It doesn't happen. Every change I've made in my life has been thanks to a group of people supporting me and holding me accountable. And we get to invest. We get to invest. It feels so good to invest in the things that matter to us, because that's how we build our identity. So
Yes.
I'm so stoked for all the ladies that get to check you out. So I'll drop all the links down below. I hope y'all have enjoyed this. This has been a pleasure. Catch y'all on the next one.